Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sawadee Kap. Another day. Another day in the life of leisure in paradise. I wouldn't go that far. Anyway, let's just get started and knock some things out here. Uh, right now, the US dollar is 32.53 to the baht. Yeah. 45 on the air quality index, 84 degrees, high of 90, low of 75. The feel like temperature is 93, and the chance of rain is 30%. And we got humidity is 81%, and there is absolutely no wind today. So, although the temperature is down, humidity's been up, there's been a lot of rain, it's still muggy. That's the word. It's been muggy. I'm going to wait for a few minutes and let some more people come in. This 6 people is, come on. Now, today is, we're going to talk about how, and I do this all the time, I underestimate Thailand. For some reason, I don't want to call it the Teflon Don or anything like that, but it seems like Thailand is starting to make a rebound. Now, things are still hard here, but it does seem like they're clawing their way back. And, people are just hanging on here. But I want to give it a few seconds and let some more people come in. I'm not going to continue about this until some more people come in. Not enough people today. What's happening? Well, it's Sunday night in America. Monday morning here in Bangkok. Monday 9 a.m. in case you don't know. Sawadee Kap to everybody. Another day. And we're fast approaching September 1st, which means there are going to be some places opening up in a few days, and I'm going to be there. So I'll be in, with any luck, and I don't see why I should have any problems, but you never can be certain. I did see something about, in addition to having a certificate that shows that you've been vaccinated, that you also need to show a test from within the last 7 days in order to enter places. I saw it in one place, on one publication. I have not seen it anywhere else. I have not seen it on the CCSA information that was released. And so there's a good chance that it's just the staff needs to have a test once a week, and they also need to be fully vaccinated. But the customers should either need to be fully vaccinated and show their certificate, or if they have one vaccination or they're recovering, they need to still show a certificate, the yellow certificate, as opposed to the green certificate. So my point is, as long as I'm allowed to enter into Starbucks, and I have all the paperwork, and I don't have a negative test from the last week, and I'm not going to get one, and I'm not going to test. I don't think I should have to. But hopefully I'll be allowed in, and what the big concern is that Mr. Longhorns will be joining me, and we're not certain how he'll be able to enter. If they can just scan his paperwork, and since he did already enter Thailand, he entered Thailand and quarantined for 2 weeks, they should have him in their system. So hopefully he'll just be able to show them his information, scan his little bit of information if there's a QR code on it, and he'll be able to enter. So like I'm saying, with any luck, we'll be streaming for what it's worth from Starbucks, the second office of me, an American in Bangkok. We should be streaming from there, and we'll get to say hello to all the lovely barista, and yeah, so that'll be a little bit different, and then we'll get to go. Maybe we'll walk around the mall or something. I don't know. We'll see what's going on because a lot of places will be opening up, and this is a big step for Thailand. And what I'm really interested in seeing is once they open up, uh, what's going to happen if there's a resurgence and the numbers start going up again? Are they going to lock us down again? Because the restaurants, there's a restaurant association, and apparently they've told the government, if it doesn't work this time, we're not locking down again. They're just dead set on opening up, and so I'm interested to see what happens with that. So that's relatively good news for here, because for virtually the entire time there have been some restrictions since I believe it's late April, and what I can say is it kind of sucks after a while. That's all. Going in and out to places and never getting to sit down and have a conversation with someone and have a meal with each other. And even now, I was talking to Longhorns about this yesterday. Even now, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to sit together. If you go in as husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, buddy, whatever, you can't sit with each other. You cannot sit next to each other. You can't sit across from each other. If you're going to sit across, they have to be one over. There's only 50% occupancy allowed. So say what you will about it, it's a start. And I don't particularly think the government should always be locking people down. I'm not for this because I'm not sure that it does any good. I think at this point it's done far worse than better. And so we're going to have to see what's going on and how things work. But one positive is that 140 million doses are expected of the vaccines, various vaccines. And what was it, Friday, there were over 900,000 people inoculated. So that's a big step because this guy Anutin, the health minister, had said they were going to do 10 million a month. And when he was in charge, before the prime minister took over, the average was about 250,000, which meant that it would be about 9 months before the population could be guarded against this virus, supposedly, that everybody would be inoculated. And they just didn't have the vaccines. Now they apparently have a lot of vaccines coming in. The problem is that many of them are the Sinovac. The majority are Sinovac. Then there's AstraZeneca, then Pfizer, and even less Moderna. So I don't know how that's going to work because I got the Sinovac and I want a booster in the next couple of months. So I'm going to have to see about that. And my kids still need to be vaccinated. So I don't know how we're going to do that because some of them are not appropriate for kids my age, and the school was supposed to take care of it. So anyway, it's a step in the right direction. And like I said, they are reopening on Wednesday, and in the red zones, the dark red zones and the red zones. So that's a good thing. We're on our way. And one reason why I say that underestimating Thailand is a mistake is because of, back in the, 97, 98, during the financial crisis here, I thought this place was going to go to shit, and they rebounded. Thailand always seems to rebound. I don't know how. Maybe it's because of the people. people who come to Thailand, tourists and expats, generally like the people. As with many countries, they don't particularly like the government or appreciate the government, but they like the people. And so I think that's something that really helps Thailand, is that the people are great and they're friendly, and so I actually said I don't think it's going to open up fully by the end of the year, and I still have my doubts. I really want to see what happens after this first step. But I was saying I didn't think the place would open up really until the end of next year, the last quarter of next year. I'm starting to have my doubts about that. I would say if things go moderately well, could be by the end of the year, could be at the end of the first quarter of next year. But again, it's a gradual process. It's not going to happen overnight. And all it takes is some jackass to go to the wrong place at the wrong time, and like 1,000 people catch the Delta variant, and then the government gets scared and they go, we're gonna have to shut this area down. Then they find another place has a couple hundred, and they go, we better shut this down. I don't know. The one good thing that I would say is that they have changed their approach, and I think that's a good thing, because they've got field hospitals, they've got public hospitals, private hospitals. I think, aside from maybe the respirators, that they're in good shape should another outbreak happen. And I think that it's just going to take time for everything to pan out. And that always is the case here. Nobody is going to, there's very few people that have the option, especially now, of just jumping on a plane and leaving. The UK, the United States, they all warn against, there was another country, I can't remember it off the top of my head, they warn against traveling to Thailand. They recommend nobody travels to Thailand right now. It's on their list of places not to travel. And, Australia, very difficult to get out, get in. So you have 3 places that no tourists are going to be coming from. And while they are not the main tourists that come to Thailand, they comprise a large percentage of the people who visit here. China, right now, forget about it. Nobody from China is going to come over here. So it might be a few months, but this gives some time for people to square away their affairs back wherever they're from, figure out if they can book a ticket or not. In the old days when I first started coming here, and I've talked about this before, but I used to get the courier flights. And those courier flights, you basically put yourself on a list, and you would either pay a higher price, which might be $300-400, maybe $500 or $600. But you could put yourself on a list that basically said you're ready to go within a day. Within 24 hours, you're on a plane. And so I put myself on that list, and I was able to go. But that's something that nowadays, it's much more difficult, especially with all the paperwork that's necessary. It's a hassle. And I was talking to somebody, I think it was Chuck, Bumgun Chuck, was talking to him the other day. And I told him, I said, I really don't want to travel right now. I have no desire to travel. The only place I want to travel is inside of Thailand. I want to go to a few places inside of Thailand. And that may happen. But again, step by step. It's going to take, first I'm going to see, can I get into some of these places? Then I want to see, after a couple of weeks, how do they revise things? Carlos, buenos dias. How you doing? How's things in Pattaya? How are things going there? I'm sure that people there are happy that they may be able to open their businesses up again. You can come to Phuket. You're still going to need to do quite a few things. You're going to need to show insurance in the amount of $100,000. I don't think you need a certificate of entry, but you need a few things. You need to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. But then you come into Phuket and you're there for, I believe it's 7 days now. And after that 7 days, if everything, you have to pay for all the tests, which is a total of, if you don't have insurance, you're not going to be allowed in. You have to have insurance. And if you say you're going to stay for 3 months, you need insurance for 3 months, which is about $300. If you say that you're going to come for a year, that insurance, if you just get insurance, not health insurance in that amount, you're going to need COVID insurance that works out to about $1,100 a year. Without that, they won't let you in. And then after that, there's a few places, I think Phang, Krabi, Riley, Khao Sok. Well, that's Phang. You're allowed to go to those places, and then you have to stay there for another 7 days. Or you can just stay in Phuket for 14 days. So, but you do have to have insurance. That is a must. They're not going to be letting people in. Now, if you wanted to come for a month, then it's relatively inexpensive. It's, maybe $100, $125. I can't keep up with all these studies and all this. Things are changing so fast, and I'll be honest, I kind of despise the internet. I mean, it's a wonderful tool when you want information, but you need to have the discipline to break away from it and get off the internet. I don't want to be seeing negative stories all the time. I don't want to see the news all the time. I just don't want to see it. There are protests still in Thailand, and that's another reason why I know at least some people won't come here. They don't. Anytime they hear protests, I'm not going there. Unless maybe they're very familiar with the country and they know, oh, well, this is in that part of Bangkok, and I'm over, in Prachuap Khiri Khan or wherever it might be. Then they're a little more apt to come. But yesterday was the last car mob, which is basically just a bunch of cars with protesters in them. And then some people get out, run around. But what they said was, what the leaders of these groups have said is that September 2nd, they're going to start every single day. There's going to be numerous locations, but the main location is Asok. It's going to be on Asok in the BTS. And that's where they're going to gather, and they're going to protest there every day from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Now, how violent this gets, I don't know. It always seems to happen. I mean, yesterday there was some tear gas and stuff. And so this is another problem that Thailand is facing. But Thailand has had protests before. I've been involved, not in the protest, but photographing the protest many years ago. And really, the people who just minded their own business, the police didn't mess with them. The army, the military didn't mess with them. Nobody messed with them. In fact, it was like, just Thai people getting together. Now, when you get to the protesters, that's a different story. Things get a little nasty. So, if I was a retiree and I'd never been to Thailand and I wanted to see the sights in Bangkok, would I recommend coming here now? Still, I would say no. First of all, because of the hassles, and second of all, because you just don't know right now what's going to happen. They could lock this place down again in a matter of days. I'm anxious to see. Longhorns is scheduled to leave in about 2 weeks, a little bit less than 2 weeks. And if he wants to stay and get an extension, he's going to have to go to immigration, where he says there's really nobody there, and he's going to have to request an extension. Now, the woman told him before that he needs a good reason to extend. I don't know if he's going to have a good reason aside from, oh, I can't get my flight, I'm going to need to stay a little bit longer. That might work. I don't know. It really depends on the person you're dealing with and whether or not they want to let him stay. But this is something else. So if you don't have a visa that allows you to stay for, say 3 months or a year, I wouldn't come here with the expectation that you're going to be able to stay and everything's going to be okay, like on a month-to-month thing. Like, you just come in. I wouldn't think you can do that. I wouldn't recommend it, and I wouldn't recommend coming right now. Honestly, I still wouldn't. Even with the reopening. In another 2 weeks, if things pan out, things trend the same way, which is positively, in the next week or two, then I would say, okay, start considering it. But until they fully open, I mean, there are a lot of places that are not going to be open, and I don't have the whole list in front of me, but there are going to be a lot of places that are not open. Now, before I go any further, do me a favor. Please remember to click the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you want to click the notification bell, up to you. We got 46 people watching, and I got 14 thumbs up. So, in theory, if there's 46 people watching, I should have a total of 46 thumbs up and thumbs down. I would think. It doesn't seem that that's the case. It's free to click the thumbs up. Well, Andrew, I think you've got a lot of harebrained schemes. That's like saying, I'm going to go, Mr. Wang's going to the city. He's going to go find himself a wife. Dude, if you're online, the chance of you finding a very good girl who's worth marrying, who you really would want to marry and who is worth it, who has something going for her, she checks all your boxes, it's extremely slim. I don't know why you would do it, and you don't seem to be in a position to be able to be stable in one area or the other. This is the thing. If you were able to come here in Thailand, you get yourself a long-term visa. That's a different story. Then you can get married if you wanted to meet somebody and you decided, hey, I really want to get married. Well, you could get married, and then you'd be able to stay here. You'd be able to bring her back, and it wouldn't be that difficult if you spent some time here. But if you just meet her online and you go out a couple times and you go, let's get married. Not a good idea, man. Not a good idea. I'll make sure to tell Longhorns that he can't go back. I'll tell you what, we had some river prawn the other night, Carlos. And they were fantastic. Really, they were really good. I forget how much my wife said. They were like 500 baht for 4 of them or something like that. They weren't real expensive, but they weren't cheap. And we had like 8 of them. And then we had some crab legs, which was very good. I think I sent you pictures of that. Anyway, also, if you want to help support the channel, get a t-shirt. I've got a couple different styles. There's many different colors, many different sizes. And you can support the channel that way. You can click on the join button down below of the video screen. You can buy one of my books. You can become a sponsor. You can go through PayPal. You can go through Patreon. You can use the Cash App. You can check out my Amazon shop. Or you can use cryptocurrency, which I haven't really done much with in a long time. But I use this, coins? I use several different ones, and I don't have money in any of them except for one. And I think I have I thought I had like $3. I have like $16 in one of them. I'm just like, is it going to go to like $3,000? Am I going to make a shitload of money? Crossing my fingers. We still have a fair amount of seasoning. That stuff is good, man. Good stuff. Actually, Longhorns was over here yesterday for lunch for like a afternoon meal, and we had, what did we have? We had chicken curry. We had a green chicken curry. We had some pork chop with seasoning, your seasoning on it. We had, of course, rice. We had some, what else did we have? What did she make that was, there was something that I liked that was so good. It wasn't the curry. I liked the curry. The curry was good. The pork was good. I don't even remember, and it was the best thing. We had all kinds of food. We had a bunch of food, which is, what we do. Like every couple of weeks, we all get together, or some people get together, whether it's just me and the family or whatever, when we cook up a nice meal. Now, this is the thing. What safeguard do these businesses have that they open up? And if something happens, some guy gets sick. Let's say I go to Starbucks, I get sick, and it's determined I got sick at Starbucks. Are they culpable? It raises the question. Now, here in Thailand, I kind of doubt it. In America, maybe. But they're already at the point now where if you want to get into places, you're going to have to be in the system. You're going to have a digital passport, which is something else. So if you don't want to, Thailand is a great place, but they do, they don't have the same mentality that they have in the United States, which in the United States, people would be crying and going, oh, what about my privacy? Here, they're just like, okay, whatever. So if you're going to come over here, you should think that way. Andrew, I want to hear more about your search for a Thai wife online. I just find it hilarious. Oh, man. God. Hey, there we go. Choke D, Mr. Michael, thank you very much. All right. That's the first contribution of the day, so thank you, Choke D, very much. I appreciate it. There's no way to prove you got it 100%. Of course not. This is the problem. There's so many if, ands, buts, and nobody's going to prove it. Unless maybe you go to Starbucks and, there's 25 people there and all 25 got sick and they all went to Starbucks. Even that does not necessarily mean that you got sick at Starbucks. It just means that 25 people went to Starbucks and they all happen to be sick. So a couple people could have got it from somebody there. Who knows? I did hear that about Denmark. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I think that it's good that you open up because what are you going to do? The governments can't just print out money and give people money and say we're gonna give you handouts for the rest of your life. It's not gonna happen. If they are, they're gonna give you shit and you're not gonna be able to live off of it. They gave you $200 a month in America. What are you gonna do with that? There'll be people on the street buying crack, beating each other up and stealing and doing things like that. That's what's gonna happen. But on the other hand, you don't want to give people too much money, like in America, where people are still getting money from the government. They don't want to go back to work. It's funny, Andrew, if you're still here, why don't you answer me, please? I'm curious to know how you plan on going about finding a Thai wife online. Let me know your procedure. And how much Thai do you speak? I'm just curious. If you're not still here, oh well, then, I guess I missed out. But I kind of find it humorous when someone says, I'm going to find my wife online. Not that it can't happen. It can happen. It does happen. I think, though, just when you set out with the purpose, I'm getting married, you better damn sure be, you damn sure better be ready and able and certain, 100% certain that that's what you want. He's been to Thailand many times. And again, I didn't say that it can't be done, but I think when you go out with the intention and you don't really listen, he's been here, and come here for a little while. I don't believe he speaks Thai very well or anything like that, and I think that is kind of important. And again, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm saying that in most cases, I think it's a process. Unless you find someone who is just, they really want to get married, they are aching to get married. Some woman's aching to get married. Maybe she's 25, she's had one boyfriend, she didn't have any kids, and she's like, oh my God, I'm going to be an old maid, which is how they think here. I think you really need to take your time. I think that's a good thing. And that's one of the things that I've had when I've had talks with my kids about, relationships, which I have had some. The one thing, and I tell them what Thai girls told me, is just to get to know them. Just take the time to get to know them. See them in different situations. See if they're going to get difficult. Well, here's the other thing. You don't necessarily need to get with an Isaner or someone who speaks Khmer. You don't have to. There are other places. There are other ways. This is what I mean. Strive a little, aim higher. I mean, there's nothing wrong with hooking up with somebody from one of these areas. But going in that a lot of them are poor, and the reason that they're marrying you is because they want to marry up. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with that. But like if you were back in the U.S. and if you really wanted all things, I'm not going to say about how women can be or how they might take half or anything. I'm not going to get into that. But if you were really going to hook up, I don't know. To me, it seems like you'd want to hook up with somebody who's smart, who's they're sharp. They got a brain. They can fend for themselves. They don't need a man to take care of them. They're with you because they want to be with you. To me, that's what Sid is trying to get in here. He must be pissed off that he didn't go out today. Our little cat is like 5 times a day, he sits by the door and meows because he wants to go out for a little walk. He wants to go out in the garden and smell things. The other thing is once you start to speak a little bit of Thai and you speak it well enough to where you can communicate, they start to worry about how much Thai you speak, how well you speak, and are they going to be heard? And it's happened numerous times to me where they've said things good and bad. And then, I just acted like I didn't speak Thai. And then when I let on that I did, it was like, oh. I don't think that's always true. I think there are some women who, they got their shit together. They don't need a man. And, I know several women, Thai women and Western women, they have businesses. They have no need for their husband financially. Aside from both of them together are a stronger team. Or stronger, They're a team. And that's why it takes time to... they actually like it, but they don't stop talking then. I don't know. You're generalizing, man. I mean, it's like, to me, that's a generalization. Because if you just kind of sit there and don't talk much, eventually they get the picture. You just go, you tilt your head back into the drink, or that's what I always did. They start yapping. I just tune them out. I don't want to hear it. Even if my wife starts yapping, I just tell her now. I say, will you stop yapping? You're yapping. Please. The only thing that I would say is, like for me, is me personally, I don't mind if they're talking. They can talk, right? But if you're in the middle of something where you need to concentrate, that's a different story. And also, one thing is like, let's say that I'm like, I don't know, I'm sitting there having a nice, peaceful dinner, and some chick was to walk in and she starts blabbering. I'd be like, tone it down slowly, slowly. You know, like don't just jump in and like change the vibe in the room from peaceful and serene to crazy and overly talkative. People, listen. There are people that, in my experience, what I've seen and how things have gone with me over the years, and I've only been married once, but even girls who are girlfriends, I've had girls tell me, "Oh, I want to know. The first thing I want to know is what kind of car they drive, where they live." This is what I was told back in the States a long time ago. And this was coming from a chick who she had her own house, and she had a little what the hell, a Ford Escort. She wasn't, she was a blue collar kind of chick, but she managed to do okay for herself. But she always wanted to know. She wanted to make sure that the guy was capable of hanging in there with her, and that he wasn't making a tenth of what she made. She didn't make great money, but she did okay. But yeah, they don't want to marry down because let's just face it. Like, how many times have you ever seen some like rock star who's a chick marry some guy who's working at McDonald's? It doesn't happen. They got to be at the right place in their life. They got to be intellectually similar, And the money. Listen, I know the guy that she married. Okay, that guy was a videographer on a project that I worked on, and that guy. Listen, she's a huge star. Most people don't get to be a huge star. But at the end of the day, she's still an actress. She has a limited shelf life unless she's going to take roles where she's an old woman, which she's already starting to do. And that guy is a very accomplished cinematographer. So he's accomplished in his field. What are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, this guy's he's a brain surgeon. And, because he doesn't make as much money, she's marrying down. It just doesn't make sense. Which is why she'll marry a guy like that, because he's successful. He doesn't need her. He's probably I don't know if he's a millionaire. I don't know, but he's worked on some big movies. And he was a very nice guy. He's always cool to me. In fact, he was me and him, he had good things to say about me, and I thought the guy was great. I was surprised when they got married. I had no idea, like, well, wow, how'd that happen? So I think anything can happen, but to me it's a little bit humorous. Hey, Dowlo, how you doing? It's just a little bit humorous to see someone come right out and say, I'm going to find my girl online, the girl of my dreams. What's wrong with just meeting them wherever you go? The ones online, the way I look at it is like, listen, honey, you want to go knock it out? A lot of them, the ones in Thailand here, that's what they're for. That's what they want. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I know this because I have several friends that are constantly online doing this stuff. Yeah, and they deal with problems in the same way and that kind of stuff. Well, I guarantee you that after, I don't know how many kids she has now, a couple of kids, and 20 years or whatever it's been, 25 years that they've been together, her body is not the same as when he met her. I'll guarantee you that. And this is the thing, what I see here in Thailand is a lot of guys who, they want their, and I understand this too, okay, I do understand it. They're a little bit older, maybe they're my age or a little bit older, and they're not working, they're retired. They're not really all that worried about money. They just have to be smart with it or whatever. And they find a girl. They don't want a girl who's like working. What the fuck is this in my... They don't want a girl who's working. They don't want a girl who is going out every day. And what they really want, the man really wants, is a girl to be by their side. He wants a companion. Now that I understand. Listen, Andrew's a young guy. Okay? For all we know, he's listening right now. He wants to know what I think about this. I don't know. He doesn't want to say anything. He's a young guy. I think he still has the rose tinted glasses on, because he's the guy who, he swears that Thailand's paradise. It can be paradise for sure. Not always though. You think it's been paradise for me the last couple of months when we've been locked down? Of course not. And it's still Thailand. So it ain't paradise. If I want to go somewhere, it's a huge pain in the ass. That doesn't sound like pain to paradise to me. Now, even when before the COVID, things could be, a little difficult at times. That's not paradise to me. Paradise to me is like a place you want to stay and you never want to leave. There are times when I love Thailand. I'd say 80-90% of the time, I love Thailand. 10-20% of the time, I'm like, phew. And one thing that bothers me is the trend towards becoming like a little China. Now, I don't know that that's going to happen. It may not. But, that's why you put your time in, you do what you can, and if you don't like it, you go elsewhere. I know a lot of guys who have left already. One guy in particular, a little British guy, he had a pension, and he used to teach a little English just to make some extra money. And he was telling me how it was difficult. He had a girlfriend who made good money. They both made good money. Altogether, they had a comfortable life here. He went back home. He had a little house. He went back home, and he just decided, you know what? I'm better off here. He asked the girlfriend, you want to come here? She said, no, not really. He said, okay, well, listen, we got a place here. You can have it, but, pay me what you can. We'll work out a deal. We'll work something out. And she had the money, so she paid him. Yeah, well, that was Jesse James, I think his name is. Now, he's made a name for himself. He's got money, but he don't have her kind of money. And, listen, she wasn't good enough, I guess, because he went and did his thing. And I think he's already been married again, and I think divorced. Maybe he should, once you get married 2 or 3 times, I don't know if Pattaya Bob is around, but I think he's been married 4 times. After you've been married 4 times, maybe it's a better idea to stay single. I will say this. I'd say that Andrew, he probably knows enough to stop the real scammers. And, good luck. Maybe it'll happen for him. But if he's really being honest and he really wants to, my thing would be like, well, you know what? Why are you in such a hurry to get married right now? You get married during the pandemic? Why? So you can have a girl with you all the time? First of all, why don't you wait until after the pandemic? Ric Flair, yeah, well, I think he's, the real Ric Flair turned into the wrestler Ric Flair. And I think that's where the problem was. It's like if Sylvester Stallone became Rambo, there would be a problem. If he thought he was Rocky, there would be a problem. Well, that's kind of what Ric Flair's done. So, Cowboy, I was just thinking about you. How you doing, man? We're talking about how perhaps there's a chance that Thailand is going to rebound. We're going to have to see in the next couple of weeks what happens. But, yeah, it could happen, She made some delicious pad thai. Oh, nice. I loves me some pad thai. Yeah, well, I wonder how much that cost them. You ever think about, hey, Billy Bob, just wrap that thing up and don't ask him to marry you, or don't say I do. Don't have him say I do so quickly. Well, I think it's going to be a while, Soy Dog. However, there are some positive signs. And I don't know if you heard, I think it was Saturday that I did the the live stream where I was talking about how Anutin got his position as public health minister, and how basically he's, by most standards, he's unqualified, and that Prayut actually took over the vaccination program, and since he has taken over, things have gotten markedly better. Now, I don't know what kind of deal they had with the Chinese, with the Sinovac, excuse me, but things do look a little bit better. You know, like I said before, this place is reopening on Wednesday. At least some places will be open, and it's a big step. The next step will come in another 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Then you're going to get to see, okay, so what's occurred because of this reopening. And there's supposed to be 140 million doses of this vaccine by the end of the year. So, in theory, the other day they vaccinated 900,000 people. If they can vaccinate 800,000, you could feasibly do, 20, 25 million in a month, and that's a huge step. Now, who knows whether the vaccines will work? Who knows what's going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. All I can say is they have what they have here. You've been vaccinated, I know, back home. The big concern that I have for people that are coming in is, how are they going to verify things from people that are coming in internationally? So, again, Longhorns is coming on Wednesday, and we'll head over to Starbucks, and I'll be there a little bit early to make sure that if there's any problems, we can still stream right at 9 o'clock. But I don't foresee any problems because he's already in the system. I don't know why you're laughing. The China vaccine, LOL. What's so fucking funny, dude? Jesus Christ. It's like the choice I had is zero vaccine or AstraZeneca. Get in, don't get in. And I don't think it's going to kill me. I don't think it's going to turn me into some creature. I don't think it's going to make me grow a third toe, a third little toe or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen. It's not going to put an eye in the middle of my head. And if the Chinese don't know what's going on with this, then who does? It would have been so easy for a certain billionaire to donate Pfizer vaccines to all. That would have solved a lot. Well, apparently that's already happened, but not very many. He has donated some. Even with the vaccine, you can be infected. We just need to open borders after we all get infected. Well, this is the thing, Soy Dog Cowboy. The thing really is just how protected will people be, and will there be a resurgence of people being admitted in the hospital, and how many will die? Because supposedly that is the whole reason to have the vaccine. People complain all the time about vaccines. And what I'll say is exactly what I said about voting. For the people in the government, in whatever government it might be. If you have the opportunity to vote, vote. Make your choice. Then stick with it. Live with it. If you don't want to get a vaccine, don't get it. Makes no difference to me. I really don't give a shit. I'll do what I want to do, and that's all that's important. I'm a firm believer. You worry about your damn self, and then you worry about everybody else. You can try to entice people, coerce people, persuade people to do what you think might be the right thing up to a point. It's kind of like, if somebody is walking down the street and they say, "Hello, my friend, I'm a Mormon. Would you like to read the book and sit down with me?" And I say, "No, thank you." Okay. You tried to persuade me, it didn't work. If you keep badgering me about it, then I'm going to get pissed. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. And this is what it all boils down to. It's about money. It really is about money. What if COVID caused some serious erectile dysfunction? Don't think would be many anti-vaxxers out there. All these what ifs. That's the thing. There's a lot of what ifs. Well, if you're gonna die in 2 years, you're gonna see. Okay, just like I saw about diphtheria and polio and all these other, Just like if you come from Africa or you go to Africa, you got to have the yellow fever shot. What are you going to do? Oh, I don't want yellow fever anymore. So where are you going to go from there? It's a circular argument. Either you believe or you don't believe. I have a hard time believing everything, especially coming from the government. But I believe enough in the medical community because I just don't think that there is this huge conspiracy amongst medical professionals that is out to kill everybody. I don't believe it. So the point is, and I meant to make this stream a positive stream. Gennaro, good morning. We'll be going in on Wednesday to Starbucks with any luck, and I'll be sure to introduce my friend Gennaro to all the girls. Oh, God. The vaccines that work, some are just better than others, and China one is... Okay, now I can appreciate that. The China one might not be that good. I understand it. That's why I'm saying I have already, in my head, planned that I am going to have a booster, and I'm going to have another shot, because the United States is not going to recognize Sinovac. So if I can get 2 Pfizer shots or 2 Moderna shots, I'll be good to go back to the United States. The only thing that I really want to do, in all honesty, the only international travel that I really would be willing to do in the next, say, 6 months to a year is go to the United States to visit my family. That's about it. And other than that, I mean, I'm game to go to a few places in Thailand, and so I will be traveling around in the near future. Hopefully, if things continue, a lot. Something like 90% of people in Bangkok have been vaccinated with 1 shot. I believe that's how it is. It's 1 shot. Let me see. Where's my producer? Nicholas, oh, he's sleeping. How many people? Let's see here. Total dose. Well, this doesn't tell me Bangkok. Nearly 90% have had the first jab. And how many here the second? 27% the second jab. I don't blame you for waiting either. To each his own, really. I don't. It doesn't bother me. You don't want to get a jab? Don't get it. You want to wait and see? Don't. Go ahead. I've already waited long enough, and I'm comfortable. And yeah. Again, it's just like, I don't know. Let me bring something up here. Anybody hear about Bob Dylan? What happened to him the other day? He turned 80 years old. Okay. Apparently, the day before the what the hell am I trying to say? What is it? The length of time the length of time that you can charge someone for a crime. I forget what it's called. I'm blanking out right now, but you know, it expires one day before the statute of limitations. Thank you. Don't know why I was blanking out, but you know, I'm getting old. I am old. One day before the statute of limitations ran out, some woman charged Bob Dylan with raping her 50, almost 50, one day shy of 56 years ago. When are we going to just go, wait a minute, come on. Get the fuck out of here. 56 years ago? And why didn't you do it 56 years ago? So, the point is that at the time, she should have done what she was going to do then. She didn't. She waited until now. There ain't a chance in hell she's going to win. I don't care how many witnesses there are still alive. She ain't going to win. No way. It ain't going to happen. Not 56 years ago, and not against Bob Dylan, who's a multimillionaire. It ain't going to happen. She's fishing. She wants the bread. That's the way I feel. Sorry, ladies, but that's the way I feel. You know, I understand maybe it takes you a month or two to get through it and to, you know, but 56 years? So all you can do, really, you're not allowed to come back. Like, if I can't say if in 5 years I'm found to have some serious illness, and the reason I have that illness is because of Sinovac. I can't come back and say 5 years after the fact, Sinovac, you guys suck. Hey, I was willing to take it. Take responsibility. I was willing to get the shot. I thought at the time it was a good thing to do. All you can do is what you can do at that time. Now, she should have done that 56 years ago. Or 55 in 9 months or whatever. But 56 years? Come on. Gennaro, how's things in L.A.? Chucky, you know, I'd like to call Chucky. You know what? Oh, I can't. I'm on my phone. Oh, I can do it on the... Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Let's see. I can try to wake him up in... I think he's in Italy. I want to try to wake him up. It's like 5 in the morning right now, 4 in the morning, or 6 in the morning there. He doesn't go to sleep until late, and then he sleeps in late. But I don't know what his schedule is. But I told him I would try to call on his way on his trip. Oh, now I see. Oh, you sent me some photos there, Carlos. Thanks. Yeah, I have to send you the food that we had yesterday. It was pretty good. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, man. Nice fish there. All right, let's see if I can call Chucky. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this work. Let's make a voice call. I'd like to do a video call. He's got to be sleeping. He won't answer. All right. Well, at least I tried. I think the other day he was in Florence, Italy, and he was going somewhere else on a train. I don't remember where it was, but I had to try. Oh, really? All right, where am I here? Things are pretty good, actually, for me at least. Mask only required indoors. Well, Chucky can be pissed. That's all right. He'll get over it. You know, he'll get it. Believe me, he'll get it. He'll know. He'll know what I was after. But he's smart. He probably doesn't even have his phone on. He probably has the sound down or whatever. So Anyway, so that's what's going on here. We got some positive news out of Thailand, and I debated titling this stream "Trending Upwards." Thailand is trending upwards. I do think it is, but it can easily go right back down. It's like the stock market. It's like one day you're up, one day you're down, one day you're up, one day you're down, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, there's only so much forecasting that we can do, so much guessing we can do. And the one thing that I found over the years is that with Thais, they're very resilient. And well, he's on a cruise actually. He's not flying. The reason he can tell you about why he has so many air miles. It has nothing to do with. It has a little something to do with the flights he takes, but it has a lot more to do with the card he uses and all that kind of stuff. How's things in Australia, Dowlo? I haven't been keeping up on the protests and the lockdowns and the people hating on the government and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me started on Biden. Worst president in history. Worst leader in history. In America, at least. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And there was an article that came out that said nobody from the White House was going to be waiting for the bodies when they returned. That really pissed me off. And then I saw, okay, well, he showed up. If he didn't show up, man, that's blasphemy. He's probably too scared, you know. Here they're at 60%. Where's here? Here they're at 60%. Yeah, you got to be more specific. What's here? What's really shocked me is New York. I should have asked Soy Dog Cowboy or Carl the other day how New York is doing. I just can't keep up with everything. You know, I can't keep up with how are all these places doing. Nor do I want to. You know, something else is that, like I've said before, there is such a thing as COVID fatigue, news fatigue. It's one of the reasons why I'm not going. One of the reasons is physical, because I just don't have the desire or the energy to go out running around covering some protest that really I don't believe in. I don't believe there's a purpose for it, a real purpose. I don't think that they're going to achieve their goal. That's one reason. The other reason is physical. I just don't really feel like I want to go out in this heat and deal with it. But the other thing is that I think it's getting better here. And I don't think it's good to be only concentrating on things like the virus, the protests, the shitty news, you know, Afghanistan. I mean, listen, you have to, because it's not fair to the people in these areas. But I don't have to all the time, nor do I want to. I'm so sick of the news. I have lost total respect for the news. And I don't really, I'd like to crawl in my little bubble again. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I will. That's why sometimes you just may not see me for a few days, because it's time for me to just get away, you know. And I was talking to Longhorns yesterday when he was here about this, that my little office, for what it is, for what I have here, it is my little world where I can get away. Most of the time there's very little noise. I don't have to think about it. I can turn the internet off. I can just put a movie on. I can sit and read a book. I can get away. Now, I'd prefer to be in some little bungalow on the beach doing that, but that's not always possible, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go through the hassles. Victoria and New South Wales still in stage 4. Approximately half the population of Australia. Australia, now, if anything, Australia may actually bridge up and get pissed enough to come out in huge numbers to where, and I know it's happened at least once or twice, they're going to come out and the police are not going to be able to handle them. The police are going to be fucked, which is about time, seeing how they've treated people over there. Was your family concerned when you went out to cover the protest? They're concerned, but they know that, I do know what I'm doing. I'm not in the Congo. I'm not in, Africa somewhere. I know my way around. I speak the language. I know some people in the press here. And so I'm pretty comfortable. And they're aware. They know that I'm not going to do anything so risky that it's just stupid. How's Jono doing? Jono is doing pretty good. I dare say that when things open up, he and I and Longhorns may go out and have a meal or a coffee or something outside of the normal areas. And, we've been meeting up at Jono's. For me, it's every couple of weeks because I just don't want to go out all the time. I don't want to go out all that much and be traveling around town. And his place, it's not all that far, but it's a little bit of a hassle to get there and just. Okay, Carlos, take it easy. Let me know what happens over there in your neck of the woods, and if there's anything I can do. It's propaganda. It's not news. In some cases, in many cases, yes, it's propaganda. It's one thing that you get tired of the news, but a lot of people get anxious. That's bad. Well, I get irritated. If you think I wasn't irritated about what's happened in Afghanistan, think again. Are you challenging me, Miso? What I didn't say that I think in the case of the Australians, I think that the leaders have gone way too far. They've taken it way out of context. One case they have this zero policy. I don't think that's good. And I think that the way that they've handled people is far different than the way they handle that most Thai police have handled the average person walking around who gets caught without a mask or something like that. And then when it comes to the protest here, it's not that I don't believe that they have the right to protest, because I do think they have the right to protest. And it's not that I don't think they have some valid points. I just think that for the most part, they're not going to achieve anything, at least for another year and a half. So I don't see their purpose of going out and drumming up trouble, because the Prime Minister is not going to leave. Hey, thanks a lot there. John. Appreciate that. What? I get irritated because who lies to me? Well, first of all, every government lies. They all lie. They're all full of shit. Most people are full of shit. It's true. Think about it. Go out on a date. Your first date. Come on. Really. Guy goes out with the girl on the first date. Most of the time, oh, no, I'm not like that. I'm different. The girl is like, I never did that. This is the first time I ever banged a guy on the first date. They always want to look better. They can't be honest. Listen, I make it a point that every weekend I go out and bang a guy. I meet him, I like him, I bang him. How many girls go out and say that? So it's not only governments, it's people in general. There's a method of getting a point across without lying, without being harsh. And believe it or not, I try to adhere to that, not necessarily online. Online, it's a different story. I let myself go a little bit. I've been following the extinction rebellions and been going on for a week and will continue. Stopped caring a while back, although the depleting horse supply over here is a bit concerning. News is a narrative rarely based on facts, and that point right there is exactly what bothers me. You know, the narrative is not the truth. You know that in Afghanistan, the White House is lying through their teeth. You have people on the ground. It's not just one person. It's not one person with an agenda that is totally biased. It's an agenda based on fear. I need to get the fuck out of here because I don't want to get my head cut off. And I don't know, I saw a video, somebody sent me a video. I think it was one of the guys in Pattaya. He sent me a video of I believe it was an Afghan, sitting there he was a teacher, and he's smacking the shit out of these little kids. I'm talking about, they were like 6, 7 years old. He's smacking the shit out of them. And I'm like, okay, this is their culture. Do I want them in my country slapping the shit, some guy being a teacher and trying to slap the shit out of my kids? No, I'd kill him. I'd kill him for doing that. You know what I mean? Like, people are not allowed to get away with that. They do that shit in America and they get thrown in jail. And I do think that, you know, Afghanistan, for the most part, I hate to say it, and I've never been there, but from what I know and what people have told me, it is backwards. It is still in the, you know, hundreds of years ago. They're living in a dark age. There you go, Gennaro. Where's my shirt? I got the shirt, except it's got my face on it. I don't hate people. I just feel better when they're not around. Yeah. You know, I'd rather have a cat around me or a dog around me most of the time than people I don't know. I'd rather just be hanging out with my cat and my dog, or I'd rather be alone on a train with some earbuds on, or sitting in a bungalow somewhere, or just sitting in my little room, or hanging out with my family. At least I know them. I know what to expect. I didn't hear about a Cinderella movie. I can only imagine. And listen, I am about as anti-woke as you can get. Buck up, Buttercup. Fuck your feelings. Stop worrying about, oh my God, I can't say this. He said this to me. He hurt my feelings. I'm devastated. Sound like Big Bird now. In the meantime, they don't realize how good they have it. I've already said this numerous times. First world problems. You're in the first world, man. You got all kinds of things to be happy about. And you got people that they're living in places where their kids go to school and get the shit beat out of them. Women aren't allowed to drive. If you show your face as a woman, you get the shit beat out of you, or you get killed or stoned. And where's all the women's rights? Where's all the feminists now? I don't see them. And I know that's a generalization. I don't mean to, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, if a woman is doing as good of a job, the same job, she should make the same money or more as a man. Is it any wonder when you see little kids getting the holy shit smacked out of them that they turn out the way they do? And then they're fed this nonstop narrative of America is Satan and that kind of thing. And listen, America's got a lot of problems. They're not perfect. Americans are not perfect. Nobody is. There's a hell of a lot of problems there, and I'm sure there's some great aspects. And I know from people that have told me from things in Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and Libya and other places. I know from journalists, I know from military, I know there's some great things about some of the people and their countries, but Oh, God. Verbal assault on students allowed if you're pushing a... Listen, I saw the little video. I don't know if anybody saw this the other day where this woman, and she's giggling the whole time, which made me just... It just infuriated me. She's talking about, I don't have the flag in my room anymore. They don't have to say the words to the Pledge of Allegiance. And, you know, it's like, I don't know what's happened to people. I don't get it. I mean, I'm like, I'm just, where I'm like, I will stutter now and more than ever. And I'm just flabbergasted by it all. I don't know how we got to this point. We've let the woke liberals cancel people and cancel so many things. And then you got people like, well, I'm not even going to name names, but you got numerous people who, you know, they backtrack. Oh, I'm sorry. Nah, you know what you're sorry about? You're sorry that your sponsors are going to leave you. You're not sorry. So be a man and man up and go, you know what, fuck it. This is what I think. If you don't like it, tough shit. I like James Woods. Anybody wants to look at somebody who is like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Look at James Woods, the actor, James Wood. Look at his Twitter. Look at his Twitter account. He don't give a shit. He's been suspended from that. He doesn't care. He will fucking stand up and say whatever he wants. He doesn't care. And I love that. He's not going out trying to hurt people, but when people go, you can't say that, you can't do this. It's just fucking crazy. Yeah, cancel John Wayne, come on. What happened then was then. Slavery happened back in the day. It happened. We're not doing that now. So fucking move on. Move forward. I know it sucked. And I can only imagine how you would feel. But it wasn't you. It was your ancestors. So I don't feel responsible, and I'll be damned if I'll ever pay a dime for fucking reparations. Now, I got to say that the other day, and for those of you who, like, you know, contribute, thank you very much. For those who never contribute and come in here all the time, for $1.99, you can become a sponsor of this channel. $1.99 a month. If you can't afford that, I don't know. You can afford internet. But what I was going to say is the other day I did this, Joe, it's time to go, or something like that. YouTube demonetized it. The protest, they demonetized it. And you know why they demonetized it? They gave me a reason, which is the first time I've ever got a reason for YouTube. They said the police were too violent. How were they violent? You couldn't see any of the bullets aside from the one that I showed. You could hear some. You could hear some going by. Now, you know, okay, you could hear like some firecrackers, some flashbangs going off. But violence, there was nobody getting hit, nobody getting hurt, not one injury, nothing. Demonetized. Because they don't want to show it. But they'll show a lot of other things that, in my opinion, are just like, it's ridiculous. Cinderella knocks back Prince Charming because she wants a career. That's funny. Well, fortunately, John Voight and James Woods, who are both fantastic actors, I believe they have enough money to where they don't really have to worry all that much, but who knows. This is another thing I haven't talked about is the hurricane. Normally, that hurricane, the hurricanes go into Florida and up the coast, up the East Coast. Sometimes they go up into the Gulf there and up to Louisiana. And my family lives in Florida, so the first thing I thought was, oh, is this going to hit them? And they may get, you know, some rain and stuff like that, but they've been through I don't know how many hurricanes they've been through, but they've been through a lot. I mean, they're set up for it. They have, you know, the things on the windows that, you know, if the hurricane comes, you roll them down, and, you know, they've had trees fall on their roof and that kind of stuff, so... How about Eric Clapton's new song about mandates? I haven't heard it. The guy was born in 1903. What you expect he sounds like. I don't know what that means. 1903. Who's born in 1903? If you say you're sorry too much, you're probably not really sorry because you keep doing it. Oh, well. I don't really say I'm sorry that often unless I do something that I think I'm sorry for. Every race was slave. Yeah, this is the other thing. Should I complain that back in the day that maybe my ancestors were slaves? What good does it do right now? Does it help me right now? And I think if you look at most of the politicians, and one of them is like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, these kind of people, they have a agenda. They are, they have reasons why they are saying the things they say, because it makes them more powerful, because they have people following them going, yeah, yeah. I don't buy into all this bullshit. Now we got 9 minutes. I told myself an hour a day, but it's just not enough. It's really not enough. I need to make it an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 every day. I want to do it like 5 days a week, 4 days a week, a live stream. We could talk about just about anything. I'll have like a loose format like I'm doing now. And hopefully that'll work. Let me see. There were some other things I wanted to talk about. We already talked about the 140 million. Oh, come on. Get the fuck out of here. Domestic flights to and from Bangkok and other high-risk areas for COVID will resume September 1st. And there's other obvious, the easing of other restrictions in 29 high-risk provinces. Listen, if Eric Clapton really believes that, show some medical data. Let me see something here. I didn't hear of this. And I like the guy, but I don't like this. Let's see here. He says he can't move his hand. And why doesn't he understand that this happens with every vaccine? My hands and feet were either frozen, numb, or burning and pretty much useless for 2 weeks. I feared I would never play again. Well, I mean, how old is he? He's like fucking 90 years old. And I love Eric Clapton, but I don't like this response to this. And, maybe he really was pissed. And, he's got the right to say. He's 55, 75, what is he, 76? 76 years old. So he's not exactly in a low-risk group. Okay, he took AstraZeneca. Yeah, I mean, really, come on. I'm surprised because I would think that he's a little more intelligent than that. And I understand maybe some stuff happened to him, but he's old. It happens. It happens with every vaccine. In my day, I used to walk 48 miles a day just to get to school so I could study in a little log cabin with one fat, ugly teacher. Am I allowed to say that now? She was fat and ugly. And she used to beat me over the head when I wouldn't learn what she wanted to teach me. And then I had to walk 48 miles back. Things were rough back then. All right, so where are you now? I'm chilling in Thailand. Life turned out so bad for you. Really, and me so hungry, I know you're always pissed off about these vaccines. So don't take the vaccine. I understand. Don't take it. But like when I see this kind of shit, I just go, come on, man. He's obviously able to play again. He went through a hard time because he's an old fucking man. Who knows all the drugs that he's put in his body over his life? Who knows his health? We don't know his health. We don't know his overall health. We have no idea of his underlying conditions. He could have diabetes. He could have all kinds of shit. So, Yeah, that's the other thing. Nobody is forced to take a vaccination. One thing that we'll talk about, maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow, is if you're able to come back to Thailand, where is the first place you're heading to? And I don't mean I gotta go see my girl. Okay, if that's what you're gonna do, then great. But like, what's the first thing? What's the thing you miss the most? Are you gonna go straight for it and go have a big bowl of noodles at your favorite noodle shop? Are you gonna go straight to Pattaya and see if there's any bar girls working, and you're gonna be sitting on that bar stool every single day? With girls running in and out of your place, or what are you going to be doing? That's tomorrow's subject. So the fact that planes are going to start flying again on Wednesday here in Thailand, the fact that the mall is opening. Think about the malls, how much money they've lost being shut down. It's a step in the right direction, and I'll fucking take it. I'll take it. Well, you can go to, this is the thing. I'm here. Where's the first place I'm going to go? I go to Starbucks because I don't have to worry about the soy 6 action. I can get that kind of action whenever I want. As the Singapore saying goes, freedom of choice speech isn't freedom of consequence. Well, that's a good saying. Because, there's consequences to everything. And, this is the thing. When is Biden going to take complete responsibility and not blame it on somebody else? Come on. Get real. I know a lot of pissed off people right now. And coming back to Thailand with minimal restrictions and not having to shell out an arm and a leg, and maybe maybe these airlines will open up and they'll start having more people and prices will go down, and there'll be a lot more happy people in the world. Because right now there's a lot of people that are not very happy. They're just existing. And I've said it many times. They're existing in slow motion. Hey, listen, this is the end of the stream. Don't forget to click thumbs up, please. You're good. You're envious of my early life? What I don't know what you're talking about. I got no idea. Please remember to leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Biden ought to be charged as with treason, in my opinion, because he's not that stupid, and the people around him are not that stupid. Don't let him fool you. He's a codgy old fool. Sometimes, no matter what, you're going to have to fight. And, I'd prefer that you don't have to fight. Really, I would. I'm not somebody who thinks we should go to war all the time, do all these things. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to go in and stand up for yourself. And when you got people like these who are bent, it's their ideology that they're bent on coming to wherever you are and taking over and making things their way. It's the way their civilization operates. And it's far different from ours. All right, everybody. Dowlo, thank you. Oh, yeah, everybody got to be politically correct on this channel. Boom. They're going to demonetize the channel, demonetize the video at least, because I said politically incorrect. Ugh, gotta sneeze. All right, guys. I'll see you when I see you, which should be tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Choke D, Leo, Jerk, and Mai. All right, ciao.